Good afternoon, 2 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon, and I just heard the ice cream man go down my road. I haven't heard that in a while, the ice cream truck. So random on a Tuesday afternoon. But we're back highlighting another local business in our community. And this is going to be a right up our alley here. This is Greg Cohen, Attorney Greg Cohen with Cohen and Norris Law Firm there in North Palm Beach. And I'm going to send it right out now to Victoria Lorusso, real estate agent at Equifine Property. Say hi, Victoria.
Hello, everyone. How are you today? Hope all is well.
And Mr. Greg Cohen on the bottom there. Say, hey, Greg, how are you?
Okay. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thanks for joining us. So we're gonna delve right into some issues in the real estate market, some questions, and Victoria has a bunch of those questions. She deals with this every day. So Victoria, let's go ahead and let's find out some interesting tidbits from Mr. Cohen, please.
Well, first I want to say Greg is a fabulous attorney, real estate attorney, and he's got a fabulous title office as well. Greg, one of the things that keeps coming up now with contracts that I think we're all a little bit inexperienced with is, force majeure. Force majeure, of course, normally pertains to hurricanes and that sort of thing, but there's no real language as it pertains to a pandemic because we've never really had one before. And my understanding, some of the things I've heard is it might be, and that was actually a couple of weeks ago, I don't know what's changed now, that it might be up to individual judges' interpretation of things. What's your experience thus far?
Well, when things started with this crisis, we'll call it, a couple months back, everybody started to panic a little bit, and part of the reasonable basis.
I bet more and more people are calling on you for your eyes on their contracts.
Yes, there's a lot more of that, and a lot more fighting.
Oh, that's not good.
Initially, but again, that usually comes from advice. I've had some lenders send a letter and try to exercise force majeure, and we explain to them that they can't do that, but what are they looking for? So instead of arguing, let's try to come to some mutual ground.
And how is this one of the biggest effects in the residential purchasing market? What else have you seen?
Well, I mean, as far as on the residential market, again, on primary residences, that's slowed down a little bit, but that market has kept on going. I really see with the low interest rates, people buying primary residences, that has sustained. I think now we're going to have some people moving down here because they don't like being cooped up north. Just as well, you're going to have people that were supposed to go back up north for our summer to clean up our streets a little bit, and they're no longer going. So I think the residential market, especially primary residences, is going to sustain pretty well. And I really haven't seen too much drop off. I've seen some extensions, like I said, a little back and forth. But at the end of the day, people just had to overcome that first reaction to this crisis. And once they get back on track, then they're willing to close. Plus, as you know, the interest rates are so low right now.
Crazy low.
I mean, you can negotiate a contract and overpay a couple $1,000s, and you'll make that up in 6 months of interest payments. And then meanwhile, you're going to live there for 10 years. So again, that helps keep the market going as well.
And have you seen this affect the leasing market residentially at all?
Well, the leasing market, I've seen that's been pretty steady. And again, we're starting. I'm going to be interested to see how it starts happening over the summer even more, because you're stuck in a condominium up in New York and you can't leave your house, and nobody can see outside. But we're looking. We've got the water, and I think our beaches, they may have just opened.
They did.
A little that therapy is going to go a long way for people that have been sitting inside for 2 months and realize that their quality of life isn't quite as good. So maybe now's the time to experience Florida.
And on a different note, granted I do mostly residential, but I know you also represent people in commercial as well. What are you seeing in the commercial purchase and lease market there too?
Commercial purchase transactions have slowed down tremendously. I mean, there still are the owner occupants people buying office buildings for themselves, they'll have to overcome some of their lower numbers when they're qualifying with their banks, but to still get those loans. But most banks are understanding that, you may not want to look at the last 2 months of financials when assessing a business. So that's slowed down. Commercial investment has slowed down tremendously. You don't want to buy a shopping center or even an office building necessarily, not quite as much office as retail, because retail has been pretty volatile. When you don't know what's going to happen, when the restaurants will be back open, when people are willing to go back into stores.
What I think is interesting is, we know that retail has been off because of online shopping and all that, but now the way people are starting to work from home and the need for office space may be changing dramatically, don't you think?
And that's going to be very interesting how the office, especially the office component, does play out. Because, look, I subscribe to the theory that, you work best when you're in the office.
Me too.
But a lot of people have adapted to this, and rather than spending money on rental space, they may want to explore that with their work staff and employees. And that will be neat to follow, to see how that does play out. But I do like being in the office.
I'm the same way. I zone in, I focus on my clients. At home, it's too easy to get distracted, and I don't know. I'm exactly the same way. It's been a challenge working from home. I'm in the office right now, but it's been a challenge.
No, look, there's nothing worse than trying to read a contract and somebody needs me to heat up something in the microwave. I think that kind of keeps me.
Couldn't agree with you more. That's for sure. Are there any other things that you see that we should be aware of?
I mean, I just think it's time to really focus on controlling the emotions in the market. I think, bad advice goes a long way, and allowing people to talk to their neighbors versus talking to people that are knowledgeable like yourself, it's that leads them astray and they miss the transactions. I mean, I've talked to people over the last couple of weeks, and I hear about agents who can't control, not even control, just discuss things with their clients, lawyers who let their egos get in the way, as opposed to focusing on the big picture, which on a residential deal, it's buying that dream house. So I think it's over the next couple of months, like knowledge and understanding and keeping your emotions in check will really be helpful to those. And you accompany that, like I said, I keep on talking about these low interest rates. You do that, and it's an opportune time to make a successful transaction.
Well, for the folks listening out there, I use Greg. In the state of Florida, typically the seller designates who the title company will be to close out the transaction. And for me, my number one choice is Greg and his firm. I have to say he's got a fantastic crew there. They do a great job. They stay in communication with me and the people involved in the transaction all the way through. And as an extra bonus, my experience has been, if there's a hiccup in the transaction, we need an interpretation, we need a nudge along, whatever it is, Greg as an attorney is right there to give his advice, kick in whatever he's got to do for information, straighten people out, whatever it is. And he's always there quickly. And so things don't fester and get out of control. He really manages it quite well. I'm sure, Greg, there's some other things your law firm does that I'm not aware of. Would you like to share more about it?
Well, I'm sure, and thanks for saying that. But again, it's also a team effort on these things. So I appreciate the thoughts, Victoria. But again, it's working together. Our focus, again, we work on the commercial transactions as well, leasing, construction. We have an employment practice. We have a corporate practice, and we also have the estate planning practice. On the not so nice things, we've got the litigation groups. If there is a lawsuit over a contract, any type of dispute with a builder or vice versa for builders, you switched it. So we handle all those aspects of law in these doors.
Fantastic. Well, I highly recommend you and your company. Never a bad experience ever. And again, I can truly rely on you, which gives me a lot of confidence in sending my clients to you. Unfortunately, in Florida, sometimes I find with some vendors, they're good to start with, and then they kind of peter off. But that has not been the case. And that I think I've been working with you for, gosh, at least 6, 7 years now.
Right.
Yeah.
And Victoria, I think the one important thing you said is, Greg's local. He's always there to answer your calls. You can reach him very easily. It's not hard. He has nowhere to hide. We know where to find Greg, right? We know where to find you. Greg, just give me a little bit, because I like to always delve into give me a little bit of your background. Where are you from? How did this all get started? How did you get into law?
I mean, I was born in Pittsburgh, moved down here when I was really young, 1 or 2 years old. And my father started the law firm, and through my years of high school, I worked actually here, and my mother actually had a store. If anybody's local, if you remember Party Warehouse, so that was my other path. Which again,
Wow, I had no idea.
that was no, I was a full. I worked there quite a bit, but after she got out of that business, and I started to focus more on the legal side. So. But went down to Miami for undergrad and law school. And then when I was down there, just decided I wanted to come back to this area. Miami is fun. And I do enjoy the football games for the Hurricanes, not the Finns. But coming back here is just an incredible place. So moved back here in '96, took the bar exam, came into the office. They separated my father and I because we have different temperaments. That way we wouldn't just have these father-son discussions. And he trained me along with a few other people, and I've been here ever since.
Awesome. And again, it's a local guy here, folks, local attorney. He lives in this community. He gives back to the community. So Greg, what's the best way for someone that's watching this video or may watch it at a later time to get in touch with you if they have questions, if they, have concerns, maybe they need your services? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
I mean, the easiest way is to you could call my cell phone. Again, I carry that around. That's 561-248-6964. Or you could just email me, grc@cohennorris.com. I mean, I do get some phone calls throughout the day, so I can't always see the messages, but the email has been set up. It pops up on my phone. It pops up my office. It pops up on my assistant's desk. It pops up at my house. So it's unavoidable, and that's why that's the easiest thing. Greg, I'd like to talk with you. This is the best number to reach me, and that would probably be the easiest avenue.
And Victoria, just tell me the importance, and people out there that are watching right now, what's the importance of hiring or having a guy like Greg on your side? Just when it comes to all the real estate needs, what's the importance of having a guy like Greg?
Well, I've been doing this for 27 years, and you could, a lot of times things sail through perfectly, and that's what we all hope for. But surprises come up, and I've got one going on right now that one little hole in the back of the kitchen cabinet shows that there's mold behind the entire wall of cabinets. Now all of a sudden we have an insurance claim. We're supposed to close in 2 weeks. I was able to bounce some questions off of Greg while we were setting this up, just making sure how my clients' rights were protected. So having access to someone like Greg, whose knowledge base is huge. He's got experience with all kinds of different situations, and his job is to protect the client, and he does a really good job at that. And he really cares, and I think that makes a big difference. And like he said, team playing.
It is. Well, Greg, listen, I want to thank you again for coming on today, and Victoria for setting this up. Victoria set this up, and it's, insight that I think some people may have not thought about, different things that you've talked about. Maybe, again, Greg lives in our community. He's part of our community. He's invested in this community. And if you have any needs, give Greg a call. Greg, give me that number one more time.
561-248-6964.
So Victoria, thank you so much. Greg, anything else you want to add?
No, I just appreciate you guys having me on, and I enjoyed this. So it was nice to talk, and thanks for for some of those nice compliments, Victoria.
You're quite welcome, meant from the heart, and a lot of respect for you.
It's our new virtual way of meeting. Maybe I'll get to meet you in person one day, but it was nice meeting you in this virtual way. So
right. We do the
little. So it's Greg. Thanks so much, Victoria. Thank you so much. And join us back at 3:00. We got one last local business in our community. It is, Greg, you've probably heard of this, and Victoria, I'm sure you've heard of it. Dune Dogs.
Yes.
Dune Dog will be on at 3:00, and we'll be talking to them about how they've adapted. They're open again, and maybe they'll cook us up some virtual hot dogs. I don't know how that works, but again, thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you back at 3:00. Have a great afternoon.
Be safe, everyone.
Thanks, Rob.
See ya.
Bye, guys.